afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on a very busy Thursday, so we'll get right to it. Topping our headlines, an alert day is in the forecast for tonight. Thunderstorms are likely with high winds and rainfall as the main threats. Dana Fulton has the timing of the storms coming up.
But first, an attack outside of the Kabul airport in Afghanistan kills at least 12 U.S. service members and injures even more. We'll have the latest as President Biden prepares to address the country any moment from now. And this is a live look at the White House. President Joe Biden expected to speak about the situation, as Susan said, any moment now. We've been following the breaking developments all day long, following a suicide bombing outside the Kabul airport this morning. This will be the first time we'll hear from the president directly today. He's expected to give remarks from the White House momentarily. We'll take you there live as soon as he begins to speak. In the meantime, here's what we know so far. 12 U.S. service members were killed and 15 were injured in that attack this morning. In all, more than 60 people are dead and at least 140 were hurt. The attack occurred outside the Abbey Gate, and according to senior U.S. officials, ISIS-K was likely behind the attack. Thousands have been gathering at the gates of the airport in the last few weeks, the epicenter of a massive evacuation operation. The images of that scene are horrific, so much so that there are many that are choosing not to show you. We want to warn you, the video we are sharing is still graphic and could be difficult to watch. Steve Dorsey has the latest from the White House.
CBS News has obtained these graphic images of bodies floating in a canal outside of Kabul's international airport after 2 explosions and reports of gunfire. Another video shows a man carrying what appears to be the lifeless body of a child.
2 suicide bombers, assessed to have been ISIS fighters, detonated in the vicinity of the Abbey Gate at Hamad Karzai International Airport and in the vicinity of the Baron Hotel, which is immediately adjacent. The attack on the Abbey Gate was followed by a number of ISIS gunmen who opened fire on civilians and military forces. At this time, we know that 12 U.S. service members have been killed in the attack, and 15 more service members have been injured.
President Biden met with his national security team in the Situation Room in the aftermath of the blast. Several planned White House events, including the president's meeting with the Israeli Prime Minister, were postponed.
But I think our mission remains. We're still committed to flowing people out up until we terminate operations at some point, towards the end of the month.
Lawmakers say U.S. forces should stay until the evacuations are complete.
Leave no one behind enemy lines. No one.
The State Department had issued a warning overnight for Americans to stay away from the airport based on intelligence reports of a credible threat. Steve Dorsey, CBS News, the White House.
And again, we are waiting for President Biden to speak about that bombing. We'll join him as soon as those remarks begin. Let's take a look outside today. We want to make sure that you know today is an alert day and tomorrow will be as well. Our weather team is keeping a close eye on the radar as we expect what could be some severe storms later tonight. Meteorologist Dana Fulton is tracking it all, and she joins us with our certified most accurate forecast. Dana, what does the timing look like for the storms?
Well, right now we're looking overnight for this first round coming through. So that's heading into early Friday morning. And then the next opportunity builds in for us Friday afternoon and evening. So 2 alert days in the forecast tonight against strong to severe thunderstorms, mainly late. So midnight heading into early Friday. For Friday, a few strong thunderstorms possible. The primary threats here for both alert days, or I guess an alert night and alert day, high winds, a heavy rainfall coming through. So possibly some localized flooding by the end of the day or on Friday. Looking at our Doppler track right now, Madison dry, but we're starting to see those storms pass over La Crosse. A few showers just entering the edge of Grant County. Nothing severe for us currently, but it's entering a pretty hot and humid environment, so it could bring a little heavy rain into the area. Madison currently sunny. Temperature-wise, we are at about 84 with dew points in the upper 60s. 84 for Madison. Notice again where the rain's already gone through towards La Crosse. Temps have dropped significantly, so the showers pulling back our temperatures. Overall, the swing there, not much for Madison in the last 24 hours, but a lot cooler to the northwest where the showers have gone through. Tomorrow, another hot and humid day. Highs will be in the mid-80s. We'll have scattered showers and thunderstorms for late Friday. We'll look again closer at that timing for late Friday and some accumulation totals in just a few minutes. But as far as traffic conditions are concerned right now, a little bit of good news. No accidents to report. The Beltline, a few slowdown spots, but no major delays along the Beltline, and the interstate looks looks good from Dane County through Rock County this evening.
All right, Dana, we'll check back in a few minutes. Thank you. The city of Madison is just days away from launching a brand new type of emergency response team.
The main goal is to send that team to nonviolent mental health calls instead of sending the police. Adam Duxter joins us live from Madison Fire District 3 with how the Madison Cares program will work. Adam?
This program will actually be a partnership with just about every level of first responder here in Madison, from the fire department to the police department, even the 911 call center. And the hope is, come Monday, should someone call 911 with a mental health emergency, the fire department will send 2 medics as well as 2 trained mental health professionals from Journey Mental Health Resource Center. The program, called Madison Cares, will operate Mondays through Fridays from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. here in Madison Central District only. And that's because city leaders say data show them those times and locations have the greatest need. Today, Madison's fire chief says this program will fill a void and hopefully work to reduce calls for mental health services as time goes on.
This is a very personal day for me. As a former paramedic in the city of Madison, there was always calls that, as a paramedic, that we went on for mental and behavioral health type emergencies that fell outside of our protocols. And we really, throughout the years, have not had another place or an alternate resources to deal with people that are having some type of behavioral, emotional, or mental health crisis.
As for how the program itself will work, it starts when somebody calls 911, and from there a dispatcher in Dane County will determine whether or not the call, it sounds like a mental health emergency but is also non-violent, and from there they'll help connect the CARES team from here at Fire Station 3 to the folks who are making the call, and then from there get them the help they need. And now this comes as calls to Journey Mental Health Centers, not 24-hour emergency line, are skyrocketing. They say they're getting more than 100 a day right now, and we'll hear from them, leaders there, coming up tonight at 6.
Thank you, Adam. We'll see you at 6. Illinois is the latest state to issue a vaccine and indoor mask mandate. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker issued the order today. It requires all eligible students and school employees to be vaccinated. Hospitals in Illinois are rapidly filling up with COVID-19 patients.
Vaccines will be required for all P-12 teachers and staff, all higher education personnel, all higher education students.
The CDC says COVID deaths nationwide will likely increase over the next 4 weeks, with an additional 5,000 to 17,000 deaths expected. Cases have hit a record high in Florida, where funeral directors say they're struggling to keep up with the demand. And in Oregon, hospitalizations have hit a record high. ICU beds are at 93% capacity in that state.
And teenagers are being hit hard by COVID right now, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The highest rate of infection last week was among 16 and 17-year-olds. That's a shift from the past month, where 18 to 29-year-olds accounted for the highest rate. 12 to 15-year-olds and people in their 30s showed rates just slightly lower than the 16 and 17-year-olds. Many teens across the country are headed back or have already gone back to school this month. Child life specialists and staff at American Family Children's Hospital are hoping the community can help provide kids with some high-need items, since donations have decreased during the pandemic. Child life specialists work with children, adolescents, and families to cope with the fear and anxiety sometimes associated with a medical environment. Part of their interactions include providing toys, craft supplies, teaching tools, activities, and books that let kids and teens learn, play, and feel normal.
Like you had mentioned, crayons need to stay in the room. Play-Doh is a one-time use. A lot of things stay in the room, so our supplies might get used a little bit more quickly than what they have in the past.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, UW Health does not allow in-person donations right now. Please review their wish list on Amazon and Target and send any donations to the hospital. Well, firefighters are calling a fire they responded to last night extremely rare. It happened on the city's west side.
One person was found dead. Talil Moladeen joins us live at Summit Hill Apartments on McKenna Boulevard to explain why this is a strange situation. Talil?
Well, fire-related deaths don't happen very often in Madison, especially when the building has sprinklers. Summit Hills Apartments did have them, and they did work last night. Crews responded to a fire alarm just after 5 p.m. yesterday. They did an initial sweep of the building. Firefighters were able to see signs of smoke and water from the sprinklers. This led them to one apartment where the fire came from. Inside, they found one person dead.
What is extremely rare about this case is that this building was protected by fire sprinklers, and we know that fire sprinklers prevent death and injury. So that's what makes this unique, and that's why we are waiting for more information to understand what might have happened.
The fire only damaged one unit, but crews closed off 2 floors as a precaution. The fire caused about $50,000 worth of damage. No one else was hurt. Red Cross disaster volunteers also spoke virtually with 6 of the 27 people who were displaced last night, providing them with housing and basic necessities. The last fire-related death in Madison was in June of 2020.
Talil, thank you. Rock County had a ribbon cutting this afternoon on their new resource center. The new facility is in Janesville and is going to consolidate a variety of programs like the Human Services Department, the Rock County Jobs, and the Rock County Job Center. The facility is named after Dr. Daniel Hale Williams, someone with roots in Janesville and a renowned African-American surgeon from the early 20th century, known for performing one of the first successful open heart surgeries in the nation. Brent Sutherland told us why the new facilities are necessary.
So our conditions assessment told us we had about $38 million worth of outdated equipment in our buildings. So we had a major investment in just infrastructure. So that's when we, with the space needs assessment, gave us the ability to look at what is the best way to do this.
The new facility will help Rock County in servicing the community.
Chuck E. Cheese is a place where some children's dreams come true, and Chuck E. was doing his thing this morning. An invitation-only First to Play event honored deserving children from the area, granting them first access to the new and remodeled game room. Silas Klaus was one of those kids. He's an inspiring local 8-year-old battling lymphoblastic leukemia. Diane Wilson from Chuck E. Cheese told us about his day.
He was so excited, and so he came over today to turn on our lights, turn on the show, and introduce the new face of Chucky to, all of Madison. So we're really excited.
The newly remodeled family entertainment and dining venue features new animatronics as well as an interactive dance floor. Tonight at 5, the rest of the grand opening event, which will include raffle prizes and an appearance from Chuck E. Cheese himself. Well, who doesn't like a good bean dip?
One farmer in Minnesota is not a fan. We'll find out why as Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
I did not have to put anything down.
Not a cent.
I had absolutely no out-of-pocket costs.
If you don't win, we don't win. If I don't win, you don't win. What does that mean? It was like, well, if you don't win, you don't pay us anything.
There was no fee unless we won the case.
One call, that's all.
Whoever made this weird nugget gave up hope. But whoever made Arby's new 100% chicken breast nuggets really cares. A lot. The most. 2 for $6. Arby's, we have the meat.
At US Cellular, we know the local landscape, so we can help everyone stay connected for less.
Right now, get up to $1,200 off any 5G phone. The choice is yours.
Whether it's adapting the network for a strong signal where you work, or optimizing your coverage where you play, we're always hard at work to make sure our state-of-the-art 5G network works for you.
Up to $1,200 off any 5G phone with no trade-in or hidden fees.
US Cellular, America's locally grown wireless.
It's safe to say that a great day's work starts with a great night's sleep. So no matter what kind of job you have, Denver Mattress has the right mattress for you. So shop the Labor Day sale today, because the more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend. Or save up to $700 on Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets and get a $300 gift. Save up to $200 on our Doctor's Choice lineup, plus 7 years no interest and free shipping. Denver Mattress, the easiest way to get the right mattress.
Welcome to Toyota's National Sales Event.
Ooh, RAV4.
It's a great time to save on the 2021s while they last.
Ooh, Venza!
Toyota's got an exciting lineup to choose from.
Oh, Highlander, could you?
Oh, sure. You have to understand, it's the national sales event.
Right now, during Toyota's National Sales Event, get $750 customer cash on a new 2021 Camry, CHR, RAV4, Venza, or Highlander.
Hey, that's my line.
Toyota, let's go places.
All Denny's pancakes are made to order with fresh buttermilk, but this month's Spotlight Stack is a Patriot. Fresh, sweet, and full of freedom. New red, white, and blue pancakes. This month's Spotlight Stack. See you at Denny's.
We all love reading the magazine, but did you know there's additional exclusive Madison Magazine content here on channel3000.com? Click on Madison Magazine for timely food stories and blogs on the local food scene that don't appear in the magazine. Find arts and entertainment and interesting Madisonians. There are featured columnists and online extras like photo galleries and videos. Channel 3000 and Madison Magazine. Together, they're your one source for all things Madison.
I was hurt in a car accident, and the insurance company offered me a check. I'm missing work from my injuries, and I could really use the money. Gruber Law Offices got my medical bills paid and money for time off work.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Fans of Flamin' Hot Cheetos now have the perfect drink to pair with that snack. Pepsi has introduced a Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew. They describe it as a unique blend of spicy and classic citrus flavors. The new soda comes in a fiery red can to match the Flamin' Hot brand. It will be available at the end of this month, but only on Mountain Dew's virtual store while supplies last.
I'll pass. Well, Tony Hawk is not just figuratively putting his blood, sweat, and tears into his sport. The legendary skater is literally putting his blood into his skateboards. Hawk donated his blood as part of a collaboration with a water company, Liquid Death. The company produced 100 skateboards with the icon's blood infused in its paint. Each board costs $500, and they've already sold out. Proceeds from the Tony Hawk boards are going directly to 2 nonprofit organizations.
Next time you reserve a table at your favorite restaurant, you might have to provide proof of your COVID vaccination. The reservation app Open Table is partnering with Clear to use its digital vaccination verification capability. It works like this. If a restaurant has a vaccination requirement, Open Table users will be notified with a banner from Clear. Clicking on it will take them to a page with instructions for signing up for a free account. And once that's done, they'll have to scan a passport or ID card and send Clear a selfie to verify identity.
A cruise line is delaying 2 ships' return to sea due to the pandemic. Princess Cruises is abandoning plans to sail to its Diamond Princess and Island Princess ships this year. The Diamond Princess was set to sail to South America and Antarctica in 2021 and 2022. Those trips have been canceled along with its 2022 World Cruise. Princess is also scrapping plans for 2 December cruises on the Island Princess. Both ships will now wait to return to the spring of 2022 to sail.
The U.S. economy is doing slightly better than experts first thought. According to the Bureau of Economic Analysis, the U.S. gross domestic product grew at a rate of 6.6% between April and June. It is the best quarterly growth rate since last fall and slightly higher than what economists initially thought it would be last month. Banks and financial institutions saw profits soar nearly $54 billion from spring into early summer, and other businesses also saw profits skyrocket more than $169 billion.
Stocks retreated from record highs as traders keep an eye on the Federal Reserve meeting in Jackson Hole. The Dow Industrials lost 192 points, ending the day at 35,213. The NASDAQ fell 96, and the S&P 500 was off 26. Well, it's a sight you may never see again. In a rural area in Minnesota, a quarter-mile-long stretch of bean field just disappeared.
What started as a small crack a short time ago suddenly turned into an earthquake-type slide. Kevin Wallivand reports.
It's still hard for Wayne Erickson to make sense of what happened near his farm. Simply put, a section of the black bean field fell 2 stories.
Like when I drove out, it looked just like the Grand Canyon. Because we didn't have all this sloughing, going on. It was just straight down, straight up and down.
It's almost as if a section of the bean field took an elevator ride 3 floors down.
And the last day, that was all pretty much all connected, where you see all the breakaway where the bank's been busting away and moving.
So what's behind this? Dry weather, a drop in river levels on the red, recent rains, or springs nearby? UND geologists told us today, all of the above. The perfect storm.
It's kind of scary. And it's sad. You know, it's sad to see it, but, you know, Mother Nature does what she wants.
And this really is a geological wonder, just the sheer force. This fallen land that I'm standing on right now, it's actually pushing under the riverbank, sending more dirt into the Red River.
So that whole bank just pushed.
From the perspective of neighbor Brad Thorson's drone, you can see the massive slide. A 25-foot drop in parts. Crevices still forming today. The land still moving.
It should be as high as it is over there where the flags are, yes.
Soil experts are due at the farm scene to try and piece together how a bean field lost part of itself and left a wall of wonder for farmers to now marvel at.
That is strange.
I have never seen anything like that.
I don't think anybody has.
Wow.
That's something.
Amazing.
Well, COVID is showing no signs of ending anytime soon, but the pandemic-driven unemployment benefit ends in 2 weeks.
That could be devastating for some families. We'll have more on that coming up after Dana's First Warn forecast.
Get the best mattress deals early at Ashley Home Store's Labor Day sale. Skip the line to save up to 65% off mattress doorbusters like these. Plus, up to 6 years no-interest financing means you pay less than $20 a month on luxury mattresses like these. Going on now at Ashley Home Store.
Monona Plumbing and Fire Protection, a name you can trust when service is a must.
Monona Plumbing and Fire Protection is here 24 hours a day.
7 days a week for all your residential and commercial plumbing services.
From installation, repairs, and maintenance to complete sewer and drain cleaning, we've got you covered.
Visit MononaPFP.com.
Monona Plumbing and Fire Protection, a name you can trust when service is a must.
Fry Construction is celebrating 26 years of providing excellence in home improvements. We strive to exceed the expectations of our clients with each and every project we do. Respected by your neighbors and voted Best of Madison 2 years in a row. Best kitchen and bath design, best roofer. Experience the Best of Madison for yourself and save 26% off gutters or insulation with any full roofing project. Schedule your consultation today at fryconstruction.com.
What does it mean to fight for what's right? To us, it means helping accident victims get their lives back to normal again. Habish, and Rotier, we fight for what's right.
I don't just play someone brainy on TV. I'm an actual neuroscientist, and I love the science behind Nariva Plus. Unlike ordinary memory supplements, Nariva Plus fuels 6 key indicators of brain performance. More brain performance, yes please. Nariva, think bigger.
Mom's gonna kill us.
Gorilla Super Glues.
Of course.
Gorilla has a fix for every project. Original brush and nozzle and ultra control gel for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Impossible. Zero Sugar Chobani is here. Zero Sugar Chobani has zero sugar?
Zero sugar.
Define zero.
And it's lactose free. Naturally.
And 60 calories?
Impossibly delicious. Impossible.
Unlock a summer of possibilities in a new Chevy. Expand your options and your perspective. Find new summer adventures. Find new roads.
The open road is waiting. Well-qualified lessees can sign and drive this 2021 Equinox LT for around $350 in a month, or make no monthly payments for 90 days on most 2021 Equinox models when you purchase.
Ashley Home Store's Labor Day sale starts now. Save up to 60% off holiday doorbusters like these while they last. And 5 years no-interest financing with no minimum purchase. Pay less than $17 a month for a new room you'll love. Going on now at Ashley Home Store.
Of course, our main story today, the attack on American troops and Afghan civilians at the Kabul airport this morning. 12 U.S. service members are dead. We haven't not heard from the president all day about this, but
in Afghanistan.
Here's a special report now.
Let's listen now.
This evening in Kabul, as you all know, terrorists attacked that we've been talking about and worried about, that the intelligence community has assessed, has undertaken an attack by a group known as ISIS-K. Took the lives of American service members standing guard at the airport and wounded several others seriously. He had also wounded a number of civilians, and civilians were killed as well. I've been engaged all day in constant contact with the military commanders here in Washington, the Pentagon, as well as in Afghanistan and Doha. And my commanders here in Washington in the field have been on this with great detail, and you've had a chance to speak to some so far. The situation on the ground is still evolving, and I'm constantly being updated. These American service members who gave their lives, it's an overused word, but it's totally appropriate here, were heroes. Heroes who've been engaged in a dangerous, selfless mission to save the lives of others. They're a part of an airlift, an evacuation effort unlike any seen in history, with more than 100,000 American citizens, American partners, Afghans who helped us, and others taken to safety in the last 11 days. Just in the last 12 hours or so, another 7,000 have gotten out. They were part of the bravest, most capable, the most selfless military on the face of the earth. And they're part of simply what I call the backbone of America. They're the spine of America, the best the country has to offer. Jill and I, our hearts ache, like I'm sure all of you do as well, for all those Afghan families who lost loved ones, including small children, or been wounded in this vicious attack. And we're outraged as well as heartbroken. Being the father of an Army major who served for a year in Iraq, and before that was in Kosovo as a U.S. attorney for the better part of 6 months in the middle of a war. When he came home after a year in Iraq, was diagnosed, like many, many coming home, with an aggressive and lethal cancer of the brain, who we lost. We have some sense, like many of you do, what the families of these brave heroes are feeling today. You get this feeling like you're being sucked into a black hole in the middle of your chest. There's no way out. My heart aches for you. But I know this. We have a continuing obligation, a sacred obligation to all of you, the families of those heroes. That obligation is not temporary, it lasts forever. The lives we lost today were lives given in the service of liberty, the service of security, and the service of others. In the service of America, like their fellow brothers and sisters in arms who died defending our vision and our values in the struggle against terrorism. Of the fallen this day, they're part of a great and noble company of American heroes. To those who carried out this attack, as well as anyone who wishes America harm, know this: we will not forgive. We will not forget. We will hunt you down and make you pay. I will defend our interests and our people with every measure at my command. Over the past few weeks, I know many of you are probably tired of hearing me say it. We've been made aware by our intelligence community that the ISIS-K, an arch enemy, the Taliban, people who were freed when both those prisons were opened, has been planning a complex set of attacks on the United States personnel and others. This is why, from the outset, I've repeatedly said this mission was extraordinarily dangerous, and why I've been so determined to limit the duration of this mission. As General McKenzie said, this is why our mission was designed, this is the way it was designed to operate under severe stress and attack. We've known that from the beginning. And as I've been in constant contact with our senior military leaders, and I mean constant, round the clock, and our commanders on the ground and throughout the day, they made it clear that we can and we must complete this mission, and we will. And that's what I've ordered them to do. We will not be deterred by terrorists. We will not let them stop our mission. We will continue the evacuation. I've also ordered my commanders to develop operational plans to strike ISIS-K assets, leadership, and facilities. We will respond with force and precision at our time, at the place we choose, in a moment of our choosing. Here's what you need to know. These ISIS terrorists will not win. We will rescue the Americans who are there. We will get our Afghan allies out, and our mission will go on. America will not be intimidated, and I have the utmost confidence in our brave service members who continue to execute this mission with courage and honor to save lives and get Americans, our partners, our Afghan allies out of Afghanistan. Every day when I talk to our commanders, I ask them what they need. What more do they need, if anything, to get the job done? As they will tell you, I granted every request. I reiterated to them today on 3 occasions that they should take the maximum steps necessary to protect our forces on the ground in Kabul. And I also want to thank the Secretary of Defense and the military leadership of the Pentagon and all the commanders in the field. There has been complete unanimity from every commander on the objectives of this mission and the best way to achieve those objectives. Those who have served through the ages have drawn inspiration from the book of Isaiah, when the Lord says, "Whom shall I send? Who shall go for us?" The American military has been answering for a long time. "Here I am, Lord, send me. Here I am, send me." Each one of these women and men of our armed forces are the heirs of that tradition of sacrifice, of volunteering to go in harm's way, to risk everything, not for glory, not for profit, but to defend what we love and the people we love. And I ask that you join me now in a moment of silence for all those in uniform and out of uniform, military and civilian, who have given the last full measure of devotion. Thank you. May God bless you all, and may God protect the troops and all those standing watch for America. We have so much to do. It's within our capacity to do it. We just have to remain steadfast. Steadfast. We will complete our mission, and we will continue after our troops have withdrawn to find means by which we can find any American who wishes to get out of Afghanistan. We will find them and we will get them out. Ladies and gentlemen, they gave me a list here. The first person I was instructed to call on was Kelly O'Donnell of NBC.
have said leaving Afghanistan is in the national interest of the United States. After today's attack, do you believe you will authorize additional forces to respond to that attack inside Afghanistan? And are you prepared to add additional forces to protect those Americans who remain on the ground carrying out the evacuation operation?
I've instructed the military, whatever they need, if they need additional force, I will grant it. But the military, from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, the commanders in the field, have all contacted me one way or another, usually by letter, saying they subscribe to the mission as designed to get as many people out as we can within the time frame that is allotted. That is the best way, they believe, to get as many Americans out as possible and others. And with regard to finding, tracking down the ISIS leaders who ordered this, we have some reason to believe we know who they are, not certain, and we will find ways of our choosing without large military operations to get them wherever they are. Trevor, Reuters.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's been some criticism, even from people in your party, about the dependence on the Taliban to secure the perimeter of the airport. Do you feel like there was a mistake made in that regard?
No, I don't. Look, I think General McKenzie handled this question very well. The fact is that we're in a situation, we inherited a situation, particularly since, as we all know, that the Afghan military collapsed 11 days before, in 11 days, that it is in the interest of, as McKenzie said, in the interest of the Taliban, that, in fact, ISIS-K does not metastasize beyond what it is, number one. And number two, it's in their interest that we are able to leave on time, on target. And as a consequence of that, the major things we've asked them, moving back the perimeter, giving more space between the wall, stopping vehicles from coming through, etc., searching people coming through. It is not what you'd call a tightly commanded, regimented operation like the U.S. is, the military is, but they're acting in their interest, their interest. And so, by and large, and I've asked the same question to military on the ground, whether or not it's a useful exercise. No one trusts them. We're just counting on their self-interest to continue to generate their activities. And it's in their self-interest that we leave when we said, and that we get as many people out as we can. Like I said, even in the midst of everything that happened today, over 7,000 people we've gotten out, over 5,000 Americans overall. So it's not a matter of trust, it's a matter of mutual self-interest. And, but there is no evidence thus far that I've been given as a consequence by any of our commanders in the field that there has been collusion between the Taliban and ISIS in carrying out what happened today, both in front of the hotel and what is expected to continue for beyond today. Amir, Associated Press.
Thank you, Mr. President. have spoken, again, powerfully about your own son and the weight of these decisions. With that in mind, and also what you've said, that the longer we stay, the more likelihood that there would be a major attack. How do you weigh staying even one more day, considering what's happened?
Because I think what America says matters. What we say we're going to do in the context in which we say we're going to do it, that we do it, unless something exceptional changes. There are additional American citizens. There are additional green card holders. There are additional personnel of our allies. There are additional SIV card holders. There are additional Afghans that have helped us. And there are additional groups of individuals that have been contacted us, from women's groups to NGOs and others, who have expressly indicated they want to get out and have gathered in certain circumstances in groups, on buses and other means. That still presents the opportunity for the next several days between now and the 31st to be able to get them out. And our military, and I believe, to the extent that we can do that, knowing the threat, knowing that we may very well have another attack, the military has concluded that's what we should do. I think they're right. I think they're correct. And after that, we're going to be in a circumstance where there will be, I believe, numerous opportunities to continue to provide access for additional persons to get out of Afghanistan, either through means that we provide and or are provided through in cooperation with the Taliban. They're not good guys, the Taliban. We're not suggesting that at all. But they have keen interest. As many of you have been reporting, they very much would like to figure out how to keep the airport open. They don't have the capacity to do it. They very much are trying to figure out whether or not they can maintain what is the portion of an economy that has become not robust, but fundamentally different than it had been. And so there's a lot of reasons why they have reached out, not just to us, but to others, as to why it would be continued in their interest to get more of the personnel we want to get out. We can locate them. Now, there's not many left that we can assess that want to come out. There's some Americans we've identified, we've contacted the vast majority of them, not all of them, who don't want to leave because they're dual nationals, they have extended families, et cetera. And there's others who are looking for the time. So that's why we continue. I'll take a few more questions, but you, sir.
I wanted to ask you,
okay.
You say that what America says matters. What do you say to the Afghans who helped troops who may not be able to get out by August 31st?
I say we're going to continue to try to get you out. It matters. Look, I know of no conflict, as a student of history, no conflict where when a war was ending, one side was able to guarantee that everyone they wanted to be extracted from that country would get out. And think about it, folks. I think it's important. I know the American people get this in their gut. There are, I would argue, millions of Afghani citizens who are not Taliban, who did not actively cooperate with us as SIVs who, if given a chance, they'd be on board a plane tomorrow. It sounds ridiculous, but the vast majority of people in communities like that want to come to America given a choice. So getting every single person out can't be guaranteed by anybody because there's a determination all who wants to get out as well. At any rate, it's a process. I was really pointing to you, but you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. There are reports that U.S. officials provided the Taliban with names of Americans and Afghan officials to evacuate. Were you aware of that? Did that happen? And then, sir, did you personally reject a recommendation to hold or to recapture Bagram Air Force Base?
Here's what I've done let's answer the last question first. On the tactical questions of how to conduct an evacuation or a war, I gather up all the major military personnel that are in Afghanistan, the commanders, as well as the Pentagon. And I ask for their best military judgment. What would be the most efficient way to accomplish the mission? They concluded, the military, that Bagram was not much value added, that it was much wiser to focus on Kabul. And so I followed that recommendation. With regard to, there are certain circumstances where we've gotten information, and quite frankly, sometimes from some of you, saying you know of such and such a group of people are trying to get out, and they're on a bus, they're moving from other people. And this is their location. And there have been occasions when our military has contacted their military counterparts in the Taliban and said, this, for example, this bus is coming through with X number of people on it, made up of the following group of people. We want you to let that bus or that group through. So yes, there have been occasions like that. And to the best of my knowledge, in those cases, the bulk of that has occurred, they've been let through. But I can't tell you with any certitude that there's actually been a list of names. I know there may have been, but I know of no circumstance. It doesn't mean it didn't exist. That here's the names of 12 people, they're coming, let them through. It could very well have happened. I'll take one more question. Wait. Let me take the one question from the most interesting guy that I know in the press. That's you.
Mr. President, there had not been a U.S. service member killed in combat in Afghanistan since February of 2020. You set a deadline, you pulled troops out, you sent troops back in, and now 12 Marines are dead. You said the buck stops with you. Do you bear any responsibility for the way that things have unfolded in the last 2 weeks?
I bear responsibility for fundamentally all that's happened of late. But here's the deal. You know, I wish you'd one day say these things. You know as well as I do that the former president made a deal with the Taliban that he would get all American forces out of Afghanistan by May 1. In return, the commitment was made, and that was a year before. In return, he was given a commitment that the Taliban would continue to attack others, but would not attack any American forces. Remember that? I'm being serious. No, I'm asking you a question. Because before... No, wait a minute. I'm asking you a question. Is that accurate, to the best of your knowledge? What?
I don't think that the issue that... do you think that people have an issue with pulling out of Afghanistan or just the way that things have happened?
I think they have an issue that people are likely to get hurt. Some, as we've seen, have gotten killed, and that it is messy. The reason why, whether my friend will acknowledge it or has reported it, the reason why there were no attacks on Americans, as you said, from the date until I came into office was because the commitment was made by President Trump, I will be out by May 1st. In the meantime, you agree not to attack any Americans. That was the deal. That's why no American was attacked.
A few days ago, you said you squarely stand by your decision to pull out.
Yes, I do, because look at it this way, folks, and I have another meeting for real. But imagine where we'd be if I had indicated on May the 1st I was not going to renegotiate an evacuation date. We were going to stay there. I'd have only one alternative: pour thousands of more troops back into Afghanistan to fight a war that we had already won relative to why the reason we went in the first place. I have never been of the view that we should be sacrificing American lives to try to establish a democratic government in Afghanistan, a country that has never once in its entire history been a united country and is made up, and I don't mean this in a derogatory, made up of different tribes who have never, ever, ever gotten along with one another. And so, as I said before, and this is the last comment I'll make, we'll have more chance to talk about this, unfortunately, beyond, because we're not out yet. If Osama bin Laden, as well as al-Qaeda, had chosen to launch an attack when they left Saudi Arabia out of Yemen, would we have ever gone to Afghanistan? Even though the Taliban completely controlled Afghanistan at the time, would we have ever gone? I know it's not fair to ask you questions, it's rhetorical, but raise your hand if you think we should have gone and given up thousands of lives and tens of thousands of wounded. Our interest in going was to prevent al-Qaeda from reemerging, first to get bin Laden, wipe out al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, prevent that from happening again. As I've said 100 times, terrorism is metastasized around the world. We have greater threats coming out of other countries, a heck of a lot closer to the United States. We don't have military encampments there. We don't keep people there. We have over-the-horizon capability to keep them from going after us. Ladies and gentlemen, it was time to end a 20-year war. Thank you so much.